After that Facebook whistleblower Francis Hogan exposed an even darker side to Facebook, the former product manager for civic misinformation at the company told lawmakers that Facebook will always put their own profits over the health and safety of the user, which is why the algorithm has been designed to steer people into more high engagement posts that could end up being harmful to them. Today on I.O. we'll be counting down the top 10 terrifying ways that Facebook uses your data. But first, if you could do us a big favor and please tap that like button, we'd really appreciate it. With that out of the way, let's begin. Coming number 10, no authorization needed. Okay, Facebook has been straight up lying to you about what they do with your data. First off, the application called This Is Your Digital Life presented to their users that it was simply a personality app that was designed for collecting anonymous information for the purposes of psychological research. This app was created by a company called Global Science Research. In the terms and services agreement portion of it, there is an option for you to grant the application access to your Facebook. As soon as you agree to that, you have now also agreed to this third party selling your data. Now, it's alleged that this global science research company sold that information that was gathered by Facebook to Cambridge Analytica. This app, and I'm not kidding you, was downloaded by 270,000 people. Not only that, but this company also allegedly had access to the user's friends' accounts as well, just from them agreeing. It's estimated that 87 million users had their information sold to Cambridge Analytica. So from one person accepting these terms and services, people who didn't even download this app were then affected, which means they did not consent to having their information sold to a third party, and Facebook did it anyways. Coming number 9, global surveillance. Back in 2003, it was revealed that the NSA had been running a program called PRISM. This program worked in collaboration with the Great Britain surveillance agency called GCHQ. So you've got leaked reports showing a relationship between the NSA and GCHQ. Now, according to the Washington Post, in tandem with some other spy agencies, they successfully tapped into the main servers of the top 9 US internet companies. They were able to get access to audio, your photos, emails, documents, and really anything else that they could. What's worse is that Facebook didn't even bat an eye when asked to hand over access to all of your data. Facebook and many other internet companies happily cooperated with this new government surveillance program, and it's probably because the incentive was so great. According to the FISA Amendments Act of 2008, any company that cooperated with the surveillance effort would then be legally immune. So if they're going for that, then you know that they're up to something much more devious. Why else would you care about legal immunity? And Facebook has been the right arm of the NSA since June of 2009. Coming to break, pushing politicians. Back in 2015, some journalists had begun publishing articles about the misuse of data by Facebook. Many of the company's newer employees were these masters of the emerging field of data science. They were capable of getting some pretty exact business insights about Facebook users. Dr. Alexander Kogan, who is the creator of This Is Your Digital Life, repeatedly denied having ever engaged in improper activity with the data that he collected through Facebook. He continued to say that it was all collected for academic study. When Facebook caught wind that people were digging into how they had collected user data, they immediately requested that Global Science Research delete that information. However, things didn't go as planned and the information was never actually deleted. They publicly cut ties with the company and claimed to have started their own investigation into the matter. On top of that, it was also revealed that Cambridge Analytica had used this Facebook user data during the 2016 US presidential election. And you know how that went. Coming number 7, facial recognition. This is perhaps one of, if not the scariest things that Facebook can do with your data. Since 2011, they have been developing this technology, and now today, Facebook has one of the most powerful and accurate artificial intelligence-based facial recognition systems in the world. Every time you tag a photo on Facebook, it triggers the facial recognition technology to learn more about what that person in the photo looks like. The same thing happens when other people tag you. For context of how good this system is, the FBI's next-gen identification system has about an 85% accuracy rate, and Facebook's is supposedly 97% accurate. Every time that we upload a photo of ourselves or a friend or a family member, we are teaching this AI how to better identify human facial features, which is pretty much the end of privacy as we know it. I mean, that's gone now, out the window. With one photo of you, someone could now easily gather any information that you've handed over to Google, Facebook, or anyone else that you've accepted their terms and services with. Coming number 6, international politics. Facebook had to meet with Congress 2 days after this big data mining scandal came to light. Although what was strange was the Information Commissioner's Office in the UK decided to pursue their own investigation and even asked the Facebook hired team to leave while they conducted their own investigation. Not only that, but the FTC and an Australian-based watchdog company were also investigating the Cambridge Analytica scandal. It's believed that they didn't just use Americans' data to impact elections in the US, they also went abroad. Imagine your data getting used to manipulate election results in another country. The worst part is that campaigns would just come to them for this service. That's the world we're living in now, folks. In at number 5, shadow profiles. Okay, this one is also pretty creepy. So even if you're sitting there right now saying, I don't even have Facebook, so they're not getting my data, turns out they don't even need you to create an account to steal your data. Facebook actually builds what's called a shadow profile of you instead. So if you've ever shared your contact info with someone who uses Facebook, you have a shadow profile. If anyone with your contact info uses Facebook on their phone, you have a shadow profile. If anyone with your contact info has connected their email to their Facebook account, you have a shadow profile. If anyone has ever uploaded a photo of you on Facebook, you have a shadow profile. If any one of your contacts on Twitter, Pinterest, or any other social media sites are connected to their Facebook, you have a shadow profile. They're using all of this to build a digital biometric template, achieved by taking everyone's photo with a face that is uploaded to their servers. Coming number 4, tweaking emotions. Back in 2014, it was revealed that Facebook had been recording everything from the way that you shop to births, marriages, and even deaths in the family. In fact, it was revealed that they had intentionally manipulated nearly 700,000 users just to test their algorithm for advertisements. They wanted to see how both positive and negative emotions could spread on the site. So what they did was tweak the emotional content of users' news feeds during 1 week back in 2012. They claimed it was to see if happier users would share more things, which would then result in increased advertising. The study, however, sparked a ton of outrage, and Professor Alan Woodward, a leading computer privacy and security expert at the University of Surrey, told The Independent, "This is just the latest installment of the insidious process of how people are overtly manipulated and marketed to online by the likes of Facebook," adding, "Facebook's business model is one where because the end user isn't a paying customer, they and their personal data become the product." Coming number 3, making money. Many people already know that Facebook makes their money by selling targeted ads to companies that they want to reach a certain demographic with. What a lot of people don't know though is that they can get a lot more of your data than you realize. Plus, they don't just access and sell your information, they knowingly conduct experiments to try and manipulate people into staying on their platform for longer. By far the company's worst scandal was back in October of 2010. It was revealed that tens of millions of Facebook users had their data compromised while playing popular games like Farmville. Not only did they try and push you these crappy in-app purchases, but they straight up stole your data while you were distracted playing games. In number 2, reading messages. They have also been accused of reading your messages and searching for keywords to build a profile of who you are so that they can better, again, target you with ads. This is something that they have repeatedly denied, but Professor Woodward believes this alleged monitoring of Facebook messages is probably one of the biggest manipulations out there. People are just not aware that their communications might be looked at in this way. And Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen recently exposed an even darker side to Facebook. She told the Senate panel that Congress must intervene to solve the crisis created by Facebook. The former product manager for civic misinformation at the company told lawmakers that Facebook will always put their own profits over the health and safety of the user, which is why the algorithm has been designed to steer people into more high engagement posts that could end up being harmful. For example, she said that this algorithm could steer young users away from something as simple as healthy recipes into content promoting anorexia just because it has more engagement on it. Last but certainly least, on our number 1 spot, to increase profits. The truth of the matter is, this is the only way that Facebook can make money. The problem is that the people who signed up for this social media site had trusted that their information would not be stolen or sold to companies for profit. Zuckerberg has denied involvement and said that there was a breach of trust, but the data sharing is something that needs to be fixed. Andrew Bosworth, who served as vice president in advertising, said that Facebook is supposed to be designed so that the user's personal data isn't being sold. He then added that they use the information to show their users better ads, which in turn will lead to increased profit for Facebook. It's like they work on commission only, so they claim to not get paid for the exchange of the information, but they do get paid by advertisers to promote specific products on Facebook. Well folks, that has been the top 10 terrifying ways that Facebook uses your data, but before we get out of here, I'm going to check out some of your comments from the video titled, "Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg loses $7 billion. I think he's lost more than that now. Isaiah J says, "In our eyes, it's like losing a fortune. In his eyes, it's like losing a $100 bill. Facts. Yeah, that's too real." Jack Steve says, "It was deliberate to suppress access to what they were being exposed for. I hope more is revealed about how damaging they are." Yeah, I feel like more and more information is going to come out, especially with this one whistleblower. You know that it's just going to prompt more and more people from the company. Facebook has a lot of employees, so we could be getting the tea real soon. Susan says, "In about the same time the Facebook whistleblower was giving an interview." Coincidence? I think not. Whiskey Insider says, "You know it's bad when he tweeted that Facebook is back online." Yeah, Twitter won. Twitter won that day, 100%. That is despicable, really. Either way, guys, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube, or at least try.